Hi guys, it's Vershi again. So I have just done one one week of doing the speaking IELTS test challenge on a daily basis, and today is the 8th day of this challenge. So if you happen to watching this video, so it's more a personal practice. But if you would like to continue to watch, you're gonna maybe the response that I give to the sample test is about band 6. If this is what you're looking for. So okay, so let's start on today's test, part 1. So after you giving the IDs, tell a bit about yourself. There are gonna be other questions. So for this part is about history. What did you study in history lessons when you were at school? So for histories, of course, we learned about the past, about the when things in my school, in my country, we learn about the history of our nation, of our country, when we started, and all the war that we've been through during the past. So that's what we learned about, to remember about our past and our origin. Okay, moving to the next question. Did you enjoy studying history at school? So of course I love history. It's like telling story, fairy tale story, because you learn about how where you come from, then what happened in the past for our forefather and for mother. So it's a really interesting story, and since I'm from Vietnam, we've been through a lot of wars, and that's a lot to learn throughout the history, and also proud that we can be here now today. Okay, moving to the next question. How often do you watch TV programs about history now? So now, as I'm already working, making a living, and I care more about how to make money, so I learn about history, to see about the how things have gone over times, about the money, the economic, and all the economic recycles to the cycles, so that I can have a better picture for the future, and maybe can perform better in this market. Okay, moving on to next part 2. So here I will have 1 minute to take notes, and 2 minutes to describe the story. So in this part, describe the neighborhood you live in when you were a child. You should say where in your town, city, the neighborhood was, what kind of people lived there, what it was like to live in this neighborhood, and explain whether you would like to live in this neighborhood in the future. Okay, so I think I could start right away. So the neighborhood I was living in the past is in an apartment buildings. So the building is an old day buildings that were built by French, and it's very simple. You don't have the elevator, and there are 5 stories building, but it's long and made into U shape. So in the middle of the building you have a very big, grand internal park for the project, for the site, where everybody in that place can gather around and play together. So that's the place where I spent most of my childhood to play with my friends. And it's also very convenient because surrounding everything is in walking distance. I can walk from my building to my school. There's a wet market also nearby within the walking distance, and there's cafes, there's street food. Everything is just in walking distance, and I can get everything. We can get everything we need. So it's really convenient in my neighborhood, in the area that we live when I was a child. And because it's an old places, so recently, I think 2 years ago, they have destruct the building and rebuild another modern building on the site. So now we hardly find this type of building in our country. I do hope that in the future I like this type of neighborhood where you have a big park, so that children can play along with the other children in the neighborhood. Whereas today in the present world, in our society, in our city right now, is all high-rise building, is hardly spaces for young children to play together. So I hope in the future I can move to some neighborhood that can encourage these types of activities. Okay, so that is part 2. Now we're moving on to part 3. So this part 3 gonna extend the question about the part 2. Okay, first one is neighborhoods. About neighbors. What sort of things can neighbors do to help each other? In general, there's a lot of things that neighbor can do to help each other. For example, when somebody's have to go for like an emergencies and they have kids, they can ask their neighbor to look after their kids for some time after they get back. Or maybe if they are close enough, I do see that a lot of neighbors help each other take care of the homes. For example, if they have to go for some day, the neighbors can come and take care of the pets, the gardens. Also, in time of difficulties, like the neighbors have the owner of the house have sickness or something, they can ask neighbors for help to buy medicines, or the neighbors can call ambulance or something to help each other. So many things that neighbor can help each other. Okay, moving on to the next question. How well do people generally know their neighbors in your country? In my country, fortunately, we still stick to our culture that we love to live near each other, and because we value our neighborship, friendship, neighbor relationship, and we want to live near each other so that we can ask for help, and in return we also help our neighbors. So in my hometown and in my country general, people do know their neighbors very well. So even like something like, if for example in the Western world, that only when you're very close you get invited for some family events. But in my country, it too happens to invite some close neighbor to the family events as well. Okay, moving on to next question. How important do you think it is to have good neighbors? For sure, 100%. I think that it is essential, is extremely useful if you have good neighbors, because as mentioned previously in the earlier questions, I respond about how neighbors can help each other. So if you have a very good neighbors, is very useful and also like can help you a lot. So, and I, on the other hand, I think that good neighbors do take care of each other, so make the neighborhoods, the communities more strong. There's also further studies about when you have a good strong neighborhoods, strong communities, your mental health also can improve drastically. And mental health is also very important, as well as is also help to boost your physical health as well. Okay, so moving on, so it's about question facilities in cities. Which facilities are most important to people living in cities? There are a lot of facilities that needed in the cities. For example, park, museums, schools, hospitals. All of these are like necessary facilities in the cities. But one of the most important facilities that I think that can help to improve our health, our communities, a place where we can both gather around to build relations, to bond with each other, and places that we can do exercise to improve our physical health. So that place for me is the park. I believe that the park is the place that people can walk, can wander around, can do running, jogging, and it's also the place that the communities come together, play along, get to know each other better, and take care of each other. So that the communities, that the facilities, I think can both boost the mental and the physical health of the residents in that area. Okay, moving on to the next question. How does shopping in small local shops differ from shopping in large city center shops? In my opinion, there's a big difference between these two amenities, between these two gallery shops. Small shops usually in crowded street, smaller street, where the price of real estate is really high, that is difficult to build a big small in that area. So usually the shop is small, and because of that, there's also difficult to find a place to park. On the other hand, the shopping is very large, and usually they are in the suburb of the city. So it's in the outlet of the city, and so that they have a big place for parking. And for that reason, a lot of people have moved from traditional shops to shopping malls because there are more space for parking, and most of them they have free parking as well. So it's more convenient to go for big shopping malls once every week, rather than go to small shops every day. So that's a trend that I seen in our cities in general, and actually in the world right now. Okay, moving on to the last question. Do you think that children should always go to school nearest to where they live? I think it depends on the range of the age. It depends on the level of the school. For example, for me, if in early childhood, like 3 to 5 years old, I think it's time for them to play rather than to study a lot, like even in primary school as well. So for that reason, for young children, I think the school closest to where they live is the best option because it's convenience. The parents can drop off the kids easily and go to work. However, from secondary onwards, the academic results and the academic stress is more tense, and is when the children need to really focus on the study so that they can go on to good college and good universities. So for that reason, they need really good schools. So hence, at that time, schools where they can be far away is okay if the quality is good, and also because during that period the children are more mature and they can take care of themselves, like they can go on for school bus, they can drive bicycle to schools, which is better and puts less stress on the parents. So I think that I think depends on the age, that whether the nearer the distance between a school and homes is matter. It depends on the period, the age.